Previously on The Collected. The lights flickered just once, and in that second Marcus saw the two women standing at the far end of the car. The lights came back. They were still there. Hell stood absolutely still, her shadow falling wrong across the floor of the moving train, angled against the direction of travel as if she answered to a different set of rules. The cold in the car dropped noticeably, not the cold of the AC, but something older and more deliberate, coming from her the way cold comes off deep water. She was watching Marcus with those flat, lightless eyes, and the watching had weight. Sigrun stood beside her, arms crossed, already building her case before a word had been said. Nobody else in the car reacted. The college kid hadn't looked up. His chest stuttered. No. Episode 4, Room 9, the HARGROVE Motor Inn. The motel had 40 rooms and a vacancy sign that had been missing the V for 11 years. It sat at the edge of a highway that used to go somewhere. The parking lot was cracked and pale, dandelions pushing through the asphalt with the blind stubbornness of things that don't know they're not supposed to be there. Room 9 was at the far end, away from the office, away from the road noise. It was the room people asked for when they didn't want to be heard. The man inside had been there for 3 days. His name was Joel Crane, 26 years old. He had driven here from a city 4 hours away with 2 days of clothes, a phone he'd stopped answering, and a bottle of whiskey he'd mostly finished. He was lying on top of the covers, staring at the water-stained ceiling, listening to the highway. The door didn't open, but they were in the room. Hell stood at the foot of the bed. Her presence changed the room immediately. The temperature dropping, the shadows thickening and repositioning themselves around her as if they were hers to arrange. The lamp on the nightstand flickered once and held, its light somehow diminished, pushed back, unable to fully reach the corners of the room anymore. She was looking at Joel with that vast and patient attention, the attention of something that had all the time in every world. Sigrun stood by the window, the highway light cutting across her face, her eyes already moving, already reading the room, the bottle, the silent phone, the untouched bag, the 17 missed calls she could see without looking at the screen. Joel didn't see them. He was staring at the ceiling. Then he blinked, sat up slowly, looked at the foot of the bed. He looked for a long time. "I know what you are," he said, quiet, no dramatics, like a man identifying something he'd always half expected. Hell said nothing. "Am I dead?" he asked. "No," she said. He let out a slow breath, looked down at his hands. "Is something going to happen?" "Something is always going to happen," Hell said. "That is the nature of time. The question is what you do before it does." Sigrun turned from the window. "Your brother has called 9 times," she said. Her voice was direct and precise, not cruel, not soft, the voice of someone delivering a record that the other person needed to hear. Joel looked at her. "He doesn't need—" "Does. No hesitation. I have stood on 1,000 fields and watched men decide what they are worth to the people who love them. Every single one of them was wrong. "You are wrong." She paused, letting it land. "You drove 4 hours and stopped answering your phone and told yourself it was because you didn't matter enough. I am telling you that is a lie your pain is telling you, and your pain is not a reliable narrator." A silence. The highway hummed outside. A truck passed, and the window trembled. Joel put his face in his hands. His shoulders shook once, and then went still. "I'm not taking me," he said. "Not tonight," Hell said. "Then why are you here?" She considered this with genuine care. "Because you should know," she said finally, "that I am never early, and I am not here yet. What you do with that is yours." Joel lifted his face from his hands. He looked at Hell, at her 2 faces, at the cold and ancient patience of her, and something in the room shifted. Not the shadows this time, something in him. He reached across the bed and picked up his phone. Sigrun looked back out the window. Her jaw was set. Her reflection barely showed in the dark glass, but her hands, which had been tightly closed, had opened. The phone rang twice. "Joel? Joel, where are you?" "I'm at a motel. I mean, I'm not okay, but I'm here. Can you come get me?" Hell moved to the door. She opened it this time, not through it. She paused in the doorway, the highway light cold behind her. She looked back at Sigrun. "You didn't need to argue this time." "No," Sigrun said. She was still looking out the window. Hell looked at her for a moment. Then she walked out, and the door swung shut, and the room was just a room again. Joel sat on the edge of the bed, talking to his brother, his free hand pressed flat against his chest, feeling the simple fact of his own heartbeat. Outside, the vacancy sign buzzed. Ac and C. The V came back on. On the next episode of The Collected. 17 years ago was, in her opinion, completely beside the point. The kitchen smelled like butter and cardamom, and something warm underneath both, something that had soaked into the walls over 60 years of early mornings. Her husband had built this kitchen. The shelves were slightly crooked, and she had never straightened them. She was making cinnamon rolls. Not for any occasion. You didn't wait for occasions. You made the thing. You put it in front of people. That was the whole secret to most of life. She was sliding the tray into the oven when she became aware of the 2 women at her kitchen table. She looked at them over her shoulder, a good long look. Then she closed the oven door, set the timer, and sat down across from them.